The year was 1968. Television viewers around the country tuned to a live broadcast from Los Angeles, where presidential candidate Bobby Kennedy had just won the California primary. Bobby's younger brother Ted was supposed to be there that night, but a last-minute change sent him to San Francisco, where he would watch Bobby's speech on television with the rest of the nation. The brothers were both U.S. senators, Bobby for New York, Ted for Massachusetts. During their 4 years together in Washington, Bobby had finally begun to take his fun-loving younger brother more seriously.
You would get the phone call, and it would be, "Bobby here, is Teddy there?" You just heard that day in and day out.
I think it was like one enterprise, their political lives.
I mean, the two of them were very close, and they grew even closer after President Kennedy died because they were the only two left.
In the spring of '68, Bobby was considering a run for the presidency. Close advisors all encouraged him, with one exception.
Edward Kennedy did not want him to risk his life and run because he was very fearful for his safety. But once Robert Kennedy made the decision, then everybody rolled up their sleeves.
As it became clear that Bobby had won the critical California primary, he began his victory speech in L.A.
I want to express my gratitude to my dog Freckles, who's been maligned.
In San Francisco, Ted was in a meeting hall with a crowd of his brother's supporters, all eyes fixed on a television.
I'm not doing this in the order of importance, but I also want to thank my wife, Ethel.
John Siegenthaler, who ran Bobby's campaign in Northern California, was with Ted that night.
It was electric. That room that night was electric.
I think that we can end the divisions within the United States.
As I recall, the crowd cheered in San Francisco when the crowd cheered in Los Angeles. And certainly when those final words came and on,
Now it's on to Chicago, and let's win there.
at that moment, it was a cue for us to go on. We didn't want to lose the crowd.
As Bobby stepped off the stage in Los Angeles, Ted walked onto the stage in San Francisco, and the crowd turned its attention to him.
He gave a Ted Kennedy speech. It was a stem winder, and the crowd was with him. It was a high moment.
If there's a doctor in the house, I want to see him right here. Everybody else, please stay back. Please stay back.
I think it is fair to say that Ted was speaking at the moment his brother was wounded. At the end of his speech, he's talking about what Bob's election is going to mean to the future. Not knowing.
Ted Kennedy did not learn that his brother had been shot until he returned to his hotel room and flipped on the television. The chaos of the shooting scene was being broadcast live. He immediately flew to Los Angeles. His brother was still alive when Ted reached the Good Samaritan Hospital.
And then late, I guess around 10 or 11 o'clock, Ethel said that if some of us wanted to go into the room where he was, where Bob was, to say goodbye, we could do so. I went in, spent some time.
Senator Robert Francis Kennedy died at 1:44 a.m. today.
I turned away and started to walk out of the hospital room and past a kind of sort of bathroom, and I saw Ted in there standing by the sink. And I must say I've never seen a man in such agony. His face was contorted, his body was bent over. I'll never forget it.
Senator Edward Kennedy, as he had been all day, was at Senator Kennedy's bedside when he died.
The following morning, the nation watched as Ted Kennedy lifted his brother's casket onto an airplane for the flight home. When the plane landed, television viewers would hear how Ted stayed next to his brother's casket during the 5-hour flight to New York. Cameras followed him into St. Patrick's Cathedral. As Ted prepared to deliver the eulogy, some worried that the baby brother of the family might not be up to the task.
I mean, he was the Playboy brother, right, in some people's minds. You know, people thought, Ted, he can't do it. Particularly some of the Bobby acolytes. Can the kid pull it off? But he surprised everybody, except those of us who'd really been close to him and knew what he had inside him.
I want to express what we feel to those who mourn with us today.
Speechwriter Milton Gwurtzman helped write the eulogy.
He was not trying to make any political points. He was not trying to do anything for himself. And he said, the main point I want to make, I want to talk about love.
We loved him as a brother and as a father.
He was a very strong figure up there. It wasn't like he was quaking and, going to break down and cry.
How he could do it, how he could get up for that here again, but he did, and it was a majestic moment in American history, I would say.
To be remembered simply as a good and decent man.
And those three powerful thoughts that closed it.
I'm trying to remember the lines. He saw...
We saw wrong and tried to right it. Saw suffering and tried to heal it. Saw war and tried to stop it. Those of us who loved him and who take him to his rest today pray that what he was to us and what he wished for others will someday come to pass for all the world. As he said many times, some men see things as they are and say why. I dream things that never were and say why not.
Those words were not just for us. I think they meant a lot to him and said something to him about carrying on.
And when he finished, I mean, there was a moment of just deafening silence, as if the air was sucked out of the room for a second.
After the service, Ted helped load his brother's casket onto a train, and hundreds of mourners climbed aboard for the trip to Arlington Cemetery.
We went from downtown New York through all those cities and villages, and along that route, thousands and thousands and thousands of people were standing to pay tribute and to mourn the loss of Bobby Kennedy.
If you see the film, you'll see a minute of it. Shots of the family or the guy with the flag or picture. But it just continued for hour after hour after hour, waving, holding up signs, holding up children.
The whole trip was spontaneous, was unrehearsed, was unanticipated.
The people just crowding the tracks were just weeping. What is wrong with this country that we have been, deprived of so many leaders through murder?
And he did not hide himself from people on that train.
Ted walked the length of the train, shaking hands.
It was an Irish wake, tears and laughter, and occasionally more than a little alcohol.
The surviving son of the Kennedys, just 36 years old, stepped onto the platform of the caboose and waved to people along the tracks.
Most people there had been through this tragedy twice now, and then when you saw Ted, it suddenly dawns on you, this is the father of the family now. And this is the leader of a political family.